Hello and welcome to another episode of Garden to Table with Rose, and I am Rose. I am gardening in Kalamazoo, Michigan, Zone 6A for any of you that are interested, and I am back here with another video. Now, this video is kind of an unboxing. I just purchased an indoor hydroponic gardening system, and there aren't a lot of videos on YouTube about this system, so I thought I would do a relatively short video just to kind of do an unboxing. And I figured then once I get it all put together and set up, I will do another video showing the completed project. So hopefully you can see me okay. I'm sorry I'm in sweats and everything, but there's a snowstorm here. It's the middle of November. There's a snowstorm. I just lugged in all these boxes with this Rise garden in it, and took everything just about out of the box. I was gonna open up the boxes and do the whole unboxing thing, but there were so many boxes and they were so big, it was like taking up my whole living room, so I couldn't do that. But I basically just took everything out of the box and I've set it out so I can tell you a little bit about what comes with the kit if you decide you'd like to buy it. Now, as you all know, if you've been watching any of my videos, I am big on backyard gardening, outdoor gardening, and usually I grow a lot of food, a lot of vegetables, fruits, things like that. The gardening season here obviously is over. There's a big snowstorm going on right now. And so I thought I was gonna pack it all in and be done, but then I started thinking about these indoor hydroponic garden setups that are fairly automated. I mean, they have some intelligence to the system, so a lot of things are taken care of for you. I had researched these a couple of years ago, but at the time they seemed relatively new and they're pretty expensive, and so I just put that thought aside and said maybe one day. Well, for whatever reason, they came to my attention again. I did a second round of research, and really it came down to three systems for me. Let me first start by saying, first I looked at those little arrow gardens, which are very, very popular. Unfortunately, they're mostly countertop type deals, and they're very tiny. And I have a small house, a small kitchen, and I cannot use any of my counter space for some gadget to grow herbs. So I started looking at something that could be a standalone unit that I could put in a room. My living room was where I had planned to put it, so that I can grow some things through the winter and use them, in my diet. So now I will say that I have grow stations in my house because I am a gardener. So I start most of my plants from seeds. So in my basement, I do have a whole grow setup. I have the racks, I have grow lights, I have fans, I have an actual separate grow tent that is very large. I think it's 4x8. So I can really grow just about anything indoors in the basement if I wanted to. However, my own little idiosyncrasy is that I don't want to eat anything that comes directly out of the basement. I mean, the basement's as neat as a basement can be, but we're talking where my grow station is set up. It's an unfinished area in the basement, and seedlings are okay because they ultimately have to go outside and they finish growing and they grow for a while and then I harvest them and eat them. But there's something about just getting food directly out of the basement, growing, and then eating it that turns me off. In addition to that, if I don't see something regularly like that, I tend to forget about it. So I think if I tried to set something up like this in the basement, what would happen is I'd forget. And it would be a week that had gone by where I didn't water it or didn't check on it or forgot to go harvest the stuff from it. It's just a lot easier for me if I can see the items growing every day as I, go about my business, and then just grab it when I need it. I do cook a lot, so I really like fresh herbs. And usually what happens, I dry a lot of the herbs that I get from my garden. I freeze vegetables, I can. I do all of those things, but there are some things I want fresh. I want my herbs really fresh for cooking And then of course lettuce and things like that I'm constantly eating. And so it really irks me sometimes to have to go to the grocery store and buy these things that I know I can grow very easily and very cheaply. So I figured this is just a great idea. Now, I will say these systems are pretty expensive, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, how much I paid for mine. They are very expensive. If you're really into it, I think, and you stick with it over 2 years, I think you probably would, make back more than what you spent in terms of the amount of produce that you reap from your system. So when I was looking at different systems, I narrowed it down to 3. One was this Rise Garden that I ended up purchasing. The other was, I think, iHarvest, which is another. They're all these tower type things that are made to look a little bit like furniture or blend in with furnishing, so you can put them in any room. Now, ideally, it would be nice to have something like this in a kitchen, but my kitchen is small, so I don't have room for this big bookshelf type deal. I have a little corner here in my living room, which is perfect for it because it is kind of a bookshelf tiered system, so I think it would fit perfectly there. So I looked at this one, the iHarvest, and then the Garden. This is called Garden, DYN. And I really like the iHarvest. I really like the Garden. I think I like the iHarvest a little bit better because it had more pods or more spaces to grow things. Yeah, and it seemed like you could more easily use your own products, your own seeds, your own little grow mediums, as opposed to buying stuff from them. Garden I didn't like because they tended to, it seems like to me, kind of try to box you into a subscription service. And it has, the Garden has cameras on it, so allegedly they monitor your plants and they can look at it if something's wrong, if you need help, and tell you what's wrong. Well, you have to pay a subscription for that, a monthly fee. And I wasn't going to do that because that would defeat the whole purpose of me trying to save money by growing my own food. So the iHarvest, I think the reason why I didn't go with that one is because it seemed a lot harder to clean. That was a big concern for me because this is hydroponic, so this stuff has water in it all the time, and so I started thinking about mildew and mold and algae and all of that stuff. And I wanted something that would be relatively simple to take apart and clean, because I know that I will be cleaning mines regularly to try to avoid some of those issues. This one seemed like the easiest one to clean because there are just, with mines, there are 3 levels, and they are flat levels with trays, big trays that go down into the little shelf, and then all of that comes apart, so you could take those trays, and in my case they're pretty wide, so probably put it in the bathtub or something and clean it out. So this one made the most sense in terms of looking at what I want to use it for, how many grow spots I needed, because I needed something that had the max, because I do grow a lot of different things, and then the ease of cleaning. So I settled on the Rise Garden. Now, I have taken everything out of the box. I haven't really gone through it. I just took it out and set it down. So like I said, I'll do this little unboxing and talk about what came with it, and then I will come back maybe either in this video or a different video and show you it's all set up. It probably will take me 2-3 days to put this together because I'm not going to do it all at once. And there are a lot of pieces. I mean, this thing came in 3 boxes, 1 really large box and 2 smaller boxes. And within those 3 boxes were more boxes and more boxes. So many boxes. So, yeah, there's a lot to put together. So let me just say, the biggest box had the base of the family unit. So it's called, I think it's called the Family Garden. And basically it comes with a cabinet unit, and then it has 1 grow shelf. I'll call them shelves. 1 grow shelf. And then you can add onto that up to 3 shelves. And so there's like a 2-tier and a 3-tier. So I got the 3-tier, which is the largest one. Okay. So the price of that, with the little discount for the Black Friday sale, was I think $930, somewhere in there. But you have to pay shipping and handling, which is expensive. I don't know why that wasn't included. it usually is on big ticket items, but the shipping and handling was another 80 bucks. And then I did buy one add-on. If you want, you can add on little accoutrements, and I will talk about what I bought when I get to that box, but I got one add-on. So with sales tax and shipping and my add-on, we're talking about $1,100 I think I paid. So it's not cheap. Like I said, it's pretty pricey. Now, it shipped very quickly. Mine came by FedEx. It came in 2-3 days, not very long. The boxes looked beat up, and there is a little damage to this big metal cabinet part. There is a dent in the back, but it's in the back and at the bottom, so it's not necessarily going to be visible to people who are looking at it. And I'm certainly not going to try to pack it up and send it back because of this little dent, and as long as it doesn't interfere with the use of it, I'm just going to leave it. But for the price I spent and for the 80 bucks in shipping and handling, I did expect it to come intact without any dings, but okay, so we got that. So okay, in this first big box, and I'm sorry if the lighting isn't that great, I'm in my living room, which is new. Usually all my videos are outside in the garden, so I have like the sunlight. But this is all artificial light. So the first thing I noticed when I unpacked this was the user/instruction manual, and it's like a book. It's a bound, the spiral bound book. So needless to say, it's probably going to take me some time to put this together. So yeah, that came in it. Let me turn my chair a little bit, and hopefully I'm still in view. Okay, so in that first big box, this is what came in it. This stuff I have sitting here. There are these wooden legs. Let me show you these. Wooden legs, you know, that go on the sides, because I said it's kind of like a bookshelf deal. Inside of this first tray, you can see that. It's a metal tray. All of this stuff is in here. There's hardware, there's tubing, there's pipes, which have to do with the plumbing system to get the water to all the levels. So there's 2 sets. I think a couple of these are if you decide to add on other layers, then they give you all that with a base layer. So if you can add a layer later, and buy it separately, and that's one way to kind of control the cost, because you can piecemeal the price. And if you do that, the pipes and everything come with your family base unit, so you wouldn't get these with the additional levels. So this all came in here, and some more tubes, some more tubes, and cords, and a power pack deal. So it's just a standard, you know, little plug here. All right, and then it came with this seed starter kit, and in this seed starter kit, in this box is seed pods. 16 pods. So there are different ones, it looks like. There's 16 in here. And I believe each level has a box just like this. The same exact box, the same exact pods. So 16 times 3. But this has basil, celery, chives, cilantro, lettuce, more lettuce, more lettuce. It has 8 of the pods are lettuce. And then 2 kinds of parsley, the curly, the Italian. All right, so it's basically herbs and lettuce. That's all you get with your seed starter kit. And depending on the layers, you get 1 box for each layer. So I have 3 layers, I got 3 boxes. So that is all that was packed inside of this tray here. So let me set that aside. And then there was another shelf, which I don't know if this is the top or what. Or maybe I don't think this is the top. It goes over that base tray because it has lights. The lights are, if you can see that, the LED light panel is built into this tray. So let me move this out of the way. And it's pretty heavy stuff because it's metal. Luckily, because it was in boxes, it was pretty easy to carry to get in the house, as long as you don't have to go up flights of stairs, I guess. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can see that. I'm filming this myself, but there's 2 just wires and looks like the heart of the thing where you plug in everything inside. Just some cardboard here. There's this big tub, which is kind of where you put the water in. You know, this is the water tank, basically. And inside the water tank, there's a watering can, a pitcher, I guess, to fill it up to avoid having to take the whole thing out. And then this looks like a pump. Looks like a pump, like the little pumps that are in fountains, the little outdoor fountains. So that's all in one container. And I like this because it's like a Rubbermaid container, so it's not too big. I don't know how many gallons it holds, but it would be easy to carry, to dump, or whatever else you need to do. That fits in there. And like I said, this is metal, so it's nice and sturdy. Oh, this is just the, this is what goes in that black tray. And these are the little holes where your plants would go. And surprisingly, the pots, I don't know if you can see that, but the holes where the pots go, you see those little squares? They're very small. They're about 2 inches, I would say. For some reason, I was expecting them to be larger, but they're about 2 inches. So that is inside of the cabinet. And then there's a box here. Okay, these are supplies. There's this little container, which I think is the nursery container. So this is for you to sprout your seeds. It's covered, it has a dome, like a humidity dome. And there's one of these with each layer. And there's like the nutrients, that kind of thing. Some pH balance. pH balance. This is pH down. It says it's designed to lower the pH. So pH down, if your pH is high, I assume, like with most plants, they want kind of a neutral, close to neutral pH, to like 6.5 to 7, somewhere in there, or to 7.5. So they give you pH down, but I don't see any pH up. These are nutrients. Thrive. It just says plant nutrients. One says early growth, and another one just says for plant growth. So there's 2 little bottles of that, plus the little bottle of the pH down. Which pH up, pH down, you can buy yourself. I've bought those before. I have them already because I do grow my seedlings and everything indoors. And then there's a bunch of these. I don't know how many. These are the little pots that go in down in the water basin. And you put your little plug in here, your little cartridge for whatever you're growing. So these are tiny little plugs, and they're open, so obviously the roots can grow out and get into the water. I assume the water is circulating in that tray and you know, keeping the roots nourished and wet. So that is in a little box inside of the metal cabinet. So let me put that back. There are 2 boxes which had the next 2 levels. So let me pull one over here. Hopefully I'm still in view. I'm not sure. Okay. So more hardware in little caps. These little black caps, which are nice. These fit over the holes. If you're not growing anything in a particular hole, you need to cover it up so that, from what I've seen online, so that algae doesn't grow inside, because light will hasten that process. So you want to keep everything in the dark as much as you can. So like I said, there are 2 of these, one for each additional level. And it basically has wood slats, stuff like that, to attach them, hardware. Like I said, another one of the little plastic nurseries, 3 more bottles of the pH down and the nutrients, another whole book, another whole instruction book on how to put the additional layers on, and they are books. It's not a little pamphlet, it's a book. More of these lids to put on the top with the holes in them, and then more of these little K-cup looking things. to place your little pods in, and then more of the seed pods, the starter kit, which has the, what is it, 16, I think I said, little lettuce and herb pods. And then there's the black tray, again, for the water, and the metal holder for the tray, the metal shelf that holds the water tray. So there's two just like this. So that is everything that came with the 3-tier family system. And then the only add-on I got was 2 sets of these little trellis things. I don't know how you hook these on, but some kind of way you hook these on to a pod, and then you can, you know, tie off your plants that need supports. And it came with a bunch of these little plastic things to tie it to the trellis. So I got this because obviously certain things will get a little top heavy, like if you're going to grow tomatoes or really any fruiting type vegetable, tomatoes, peppers, all of those probably could use some kind of trellising or staking. And they had another trellis that kind of goes on the sides of the thing and you can tie stuff to it, but that didn't seem as useful because basically you can only tie what would be at the edge to that trellis since they're on the sides, right? So I didn't get that. I just got these, and hopefully that'll be enough to get me by. So that is it for the unboxing. I think that went pretty quick. So what I'm going to do is over the next couple of days, I'm going to put this whole thing together. And then I'm going to come back once it's together and set up, and I'm going to show you what everything looks like and hopefully how it works, and maybe I'll even have things planted in there and I can show you that as well. Okay, so again, this is the Rise Indoor Garden, and they have a website, like just search Rise Gardens on, you know, Google or whichever search engine you use. And this is the 3-tier family system. They have a 2-tier, they have the just 1-tier family system, and then I think they have a little personal one too that reminds me of an arrow garden because it sits on a counter or table or something. So they have that little one as well. All right, that's all I got for today. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, bye bye.